Okay, so if anyone has a question, please raise your hand and we can get started. So Lisa, get us started for the morning. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. Yes, I figured this call would be busy with Chapter Academy Leadership Summit wrapping up and us all being very energized. Just a quick question for you. When you create an event on the website and you register for that event through the website, is there any way to set that up with an Outlook invite so that that drops into people's work calendars, similar to kind of how NIGP runs their courses?
No, there is a add to calendar link on the event, and people can, it's an ICS file that gets downloaded, but they have to actually upload it into their own calendar.
Okay, but you're saying there is a setting within the event that we can turn on that calendar link option?
You don't even need to turn it on, it's automatic. What's your website?
It's the Kansas chapter, so it's KAPPP.org.
Okay. Okay, sorry, I'm working remotely off a laptop today, so it's a little even more difficult for me. So 1 second here to share screen. Okay, so you see my screen now, right?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay. So this little icon here is the add to calendar, and it downloads an ICS file, and it's automatic. And then ClubExpress did add something recently, I think it was within the last year, that in your registration confirmation email from when somebody registers, that's the communications system emails. And I'm just going to do an event search. Oops. Event confirmation, registration confirmation. They added something in here recently where they actually started adding a click here in the confirmation email. So people, if they miss it on the event landing page, they can download it from the confirmation email.
Great, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Quick question on that, Yvonne. This is Ginny. So I do use that add to calendar, but I noticed that when you pop it open, there's an open or a save as. When I open, it makes me go to the Office 365. But my organization, I guess, doesn't subscribe to that particular option, so it won't go into my calendar. I'm having to do a workaround, and I don't know if that's a way to force it.
I don't, that I'm maybe somebody else can speak to that. I use a Google Calendar. So I just upload it into my Google. I've never tried to upload it into an organizational Outlook calendar. But it does come in as an ICS file. So it might be something you have to talk to your IT department and see if why the ICS file is not being able to be uploaded into your organizational calendar.
Okay. Got it. It just
Unless somebody else can speak to it.
Okay, yeah. So before somebody answers, I just clicked. So there's two. One way is the Office 365, and my organization may apply to you. It says the new Outlook for Windows doesn't currently support this action. You can switch back to classic Outlook for Windows and try again. So that's the error. And then the second one, as you said, Yvonne, it is an ICS file. So I'm not as familiar with ICS at work. It looks like it opens it up again as a file to my like SharePoint. So now I'm like, okay, if you save it, how does that go into the Outlook? And maybe the answer is you're not sure. Not quite sure.
In Google, I go to my settings and then I'm able to upload it into the Google Calendar.
Give it a try. Thank you.
Sorry. Your microphone is also going in and out, so I apologize that I'm
Oh.
not catching every word.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
I mean, we could do some practices later outside of office, and I can see if I can figure out some steps to get an ICS to upload. Okay.
Rosanna, your hand is up.
Good morning, everyone. Yeah, I'm calling from Maryland Public Purchasing Association. So, I have a couple of questions. I wanted to know, how do I make something a requirement? When I say a requirement, I mean like if you go into the member's profile and the fields that are there, whenever we have a new member signing up, can we make fields a requirement or they can't move on?
Certain fields you can. Which fields are you, like for instance, you can require an email address, which absolutely makes sense because
Yes.
otherwise you can't communicate with them. What fields are you looking for?
So there were several fields. We were wanted to make sure that the company's name, and with the company's name, it's going to roll into my second question. Um, I wanted to know if we could do drop down windows as well, because what we've been finding is that, say we have like 5 members from the um, same agency, like Baltimore City, the city of Baltimore, they're using all different names. So I wanted to know if I could like create a drop down window with the different agencies, knowing that I'll have to update that whenever, another, if there's an agency's name that we don't have on there, but we want the agencies to be names to be consistent. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so no, you can't. Within the profile builder, you cannot do a drop down. What you could do is eliminate that question in the member profile and add it as an additional member data question. And then the additional member data question could be required. And it could be a drop down and they pick which organization they work for.
However, can I ask, Yvonne, a lot of these chapters are using agency business memberships, and thus the company name is required for that. So we don't want them to not require the company name to take that away, right? So
Yeah.
I'm not sure that's really an option. And yes, we actually explored that, Ruth, and that was another question we have received, is being able to create that standardization, but it's just not possible.
Okay.
We
So
can't
that's,
even do it on the NIGP side either for what we do. So
but you did say I can make some things required, like some of
Yeah,
those.
but it would be, yeah, so let's see.
You want to go to me?
Sure, what's your last name? I'm sorry,
Milburn, Milbourne. So we want to definitely make sure that their occupation title, company. Well, there's a lot of fields that kind of like need to be required. But I know some of the things that we look at when we, after we get a new member's request, we want to see their title, and a lot of times they don't fill out the job description, and we want to make sure that that section is filled out.
The job description, where is that?
Oh, that's on. I think that's
That's
on
one of your additional member data.
additional member data. Yes.
Describe the duties. Okay. So let's see that. So under additional member data questions,
Mhm.
and it's job duties. Let's see. Yeah. See, here is where it's going to tell you if it's required or optional. So just find your question that is attached to that one. I don't know, I'm trying to see here real quick and I can't see, but just go to, if it says optional right now and you want to make it required, you would just change the setting to required.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Oh, thank you.
Mhm.
Alan, you have a question?
Yes, good morning.
Morning.
I reached out, I believe, last week. We've had several members reach out. They can't remember their passwords. We have our March Procurement Month event posted, so they're trying to go in and register for that event. And with Kentucky and our Commonwealth Office of Technology, it's a where it's a constant struggle trying to get around the security that the Commonwealth Office of Technology has with emails and things getting caught up from ClubExpress. So you indicated in your response that there's a way to go in and manually reset a password and send a temporary password to the member. So if you could go through that for me.
Yes. Okay. So first of all, here's your password reset email. So when somebody clicks on the reset password, this is the email that goes to them. And we've turned on tracking. So the nice thing here is if you go, this is under communications and system emails. I don't know if you followed that. So let me just show you communications, system emails, and then it is the password reset. And this gear tells you that you've customized it. So let's see. And you are tracking open emails. And then here you can click on this icon here to see if the email, because a lot of people say the email never went out.
Mm-hmm.
So you can confirm, yes, it did go out, but see, they haven't opened it. It'll say when it went out and whether or not they opened it. And if they opened it, it'll tell you the date and time they opened it. So that's a really nice feature.
Gotcha.
But a lot of times you can also just say, check your spam. It went out on, February 24th at 12:44 p.m. And a lot of times they'll find it that way. But if all else fails, what you can do is go to do you mind if I reset yours?
That's fine.
Okay.
Well, I've actually got a member that you could use as an example if you'd rather do that.
Well, I wouldn't I'm not, I'll go through it without the process here. So because I don't want to share their username and password in this group.
Gotcha. Okay.
So I'm just going to use you for now.
Okay.
And you would you would find the member and click on the pencil icon. And then if you hit reset password, it's going to send an email to alan.calderon.
Cold iron. Mm-hmm.
Cold iron. And obviously you can do that as many times as you want, but if they're not getting the emails because it's getting blocked in their spam, it's never going to work. So what you want to do is you want to go to their basic info and remove their email address. But make sure you save the email address somewhere. Now it has no email address to send the temporary password to.
Gotcha.
So when I hit, and I'm not going to hit reset password, but if I
Mhm.
clicked on reset password, a little pop-up window would open here and it would say, please, we don't have an email address. Please send this username and temporary password to the client, to the person. And what I usually do, just because I feel it's a little safer, is I use the little snippet tool and I just copy a little snippet of that pop-up window. And I send that in the email because I feel like bots that are trolling people's email addresses are looking for the word password, but they're not going to see that in an image. I don't
Okay.
know if that's true, but I feel it's a little safer. So that's what I do. I just send them that little snippet image. And then once you send it to them, you just go back in and you put their email address back.
Okay.
Oh, and I just screwed up because I took that snippet, which is why you got to make sure you save it. I believe your email was allan.coldiron
At ky.gov.
ky.gov.
Yep.
And that's it. That's the little trick. It's a little workaround.
So the system automatically generates the temporary password. You don't create that. Okay.
Correct. And the temporary password it doesn't expire after 24 hours or anything like that. It'll stay that password until they actually log in. And then when they log in, they can change it. They'll be prompted to change it.
Okay. All right. Very good. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Tony, you have your hand up.
Hello, everyone. So I just want to say that I'm a true believer of ClubExpress. I didn't understand it. I still don't understand it, but it's so robust, and I got a lot of my members trying to decipher stuff. So that's a great thing. But my question to you is, and this is under People Manager, how do you compress like two different accounts? And so if you go into Maryland, um, MPPA, and I typed in Johnson, and so if you go into Johnson, you'll see, yeah, type in Johnson.
So let me just start with this. I always recommend when you come to this People Manager, it defaults to members only and active and expired. I always recommend you check all and you check both.
Okay.
So now if this will help if there's a duplicate non-member
Right.
profile.
Right. Now, do you see Prince George's County twice, 6-2, and actually you see like, and this is the same person, Johnson. So how do you bring those? And actually I see 1, 2, 3, 4. So I got more. How do you make it one account?
So you're trying to merge these. Here's a non-member active. So I would start with the non-member active. These are all the same person. You can merge a non-member active with an active member. The way you do that is you go to the non-member and you go to this last icon here, more options, click on it and click on merge.
Okay.
Now you're going to merge that profile with a member profile, and you're going to look up that member profile, and we want this active one that is 2023462. So that's the one we're going to merge it with. And now the non-member profile is gone.
Okay.
This is an expired profile. So instead of renewing, they went in and started a new membership as a national NIGP versus a chapter.
Okay.
So I would go ahead and convert this one to a non-member. But let's see first here. Okay, yeah. Convert this one to a non-member. I clicked on expired here, which opened up this. And now I'm going to merge this non-member with this active. Same way I did the last one. And now we're down to 2. You cannot merge an active member with a dropped. So we're going to change this. We're going to do the same thing. We're going to change it from dropped to convert to non-member. And then merge the non-member with the active. And now all transaction history from all of those profiles will be merged into this one profile's transaction history.
Okay. Yeah. Part of my problem is folks, they just add themselves, and we never really cleaned up our members list. So that was one of the things I wanted to try to work on.
There are a couple of cleanup tools under both the member options here and the non-member options. Under the member options, there is a few different where you can match expired to active by first and last name.
Okay.
And if you do that, you've got one person that's got an expired and an active, and you can merge them. So there's a few different ways to clean up in this one. Here's where you have a lot. But you're not going to do this because these are organizations. So there's going to have this is going to have different people's names at the same address.
Right, right.
But under the non-member options here, there's also a cleanup tool where you can find duplicates by first and last name, etc. So I would look at these, play around with these and clean them up.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Heather, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I was wondering, so we have an online review session. I'm with the Arizona chapter, sorry. And I wanted to try to do a Zoom link so that once they register, it automatically gets sent to them and we'll follow up. But it wasn't allowing me to take the entire Zoom link and put it there. It like stops.
Wow, it must be a really long Zoom link.
Yeah.
Is
So I
it
don't
one
know,
that-
is it possible? Go ahead.
Yeah, is it one that's requiring, are people supposed to then click on that and register on Zoom? Is that why it's a longer link maybe?
No, we require them to sign up and not just go ahead and attend because they get the points and the certification. They either get the certification for attending all of the events or not. They're the review sessions. So if you scroll down to like the 6th or 7th, the 9/11 AZs, see, the 9/11.
And you are trying to put the Zoom link in the location?
Yeah. So I want it to where it sends an email after, but the Zoom link is way too long for that because I've tested it. I've done it a million times and it doesn't work. Is there a workaround or no?
Can you send me, no, there wouldn't be any workaround. We have to figure out why your Zoom link though. That's why I was asking, are you requiring a two-step registration? So in other words, somebody clicks on the Zoom link, which takes them to Zoom, and then they also have to register on Zoom.
No.
So that's very strange. I haven't seen such a long Zoom link. So do you mind if I email you after this, Lisa?
It's Heather, but
Wait,
no.
No, I'm sorry, Heather. Heather,
Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Why don't you go ahead and send me the Zoom link at the email address nigp@acclaimpros.net, and we'll take a look at that together.
Heather, can I suggest as well? While you're on this page, Yvonne, we use the other button called send an email after registration payment. That allows them to actually get the Zoom link in their email rather than on the invite, because that means anybody could just hit on the, on the calendar event without, they could bypass the registration and not.
No, that's what I
So-
hit. That's what I hit was send an email after registration or
Okay.
payment.
I didn't
But-
see it clicked in, so that's
No,
why
I didn't. It's because I just deleted everything on there. So it was
Oh,
actually
gotcha.
going, so I just redid it. It's just not working. So I just kept it, whatever it was, but I did that and the Zoom link is too long for that line. That video link, it's too long.
Okay. I have one and it works, so it could be just the link itself. But yeah, Yvonne will follow up with you. If you need help too, I'm more than happy to tap in if you need to.
Okay. Thank you.
I've seen some long Zoom links, but that sounds like it's really long. So yeah, we'll take a look at that.
Lisa, you have your hand up.
Good morning. It's Lisa with the Alberta chapter. I'm still working on basics. I have a question about changing the status of two members from, I believe that they're probably listed as active, and I need to change them to one is retired. I don't have a forwarding contact email, and the other one, I'm not sure if she is retired or not. So we could search under entity, and then they're with the same entity. So it is City of Edmonton. Great. So the first member that I've been advised is retired is number 23, Douglas Lopatinsky. So he would need
Right
to,
here.
yeah, so I'm not sure because he's not going to be a lifetime member that's retired with us because we don't have a contact email yet, a personal email. So I'm not sure where to put him until we figure out.
You'd want to drop him for
Okay.
now. He'll still be in there, but you don't drop him here. This is something that we've been talking about on how to properly drop secondary members. You don't drop his profile here. What you need to do is drop his profile from the primary member.
Okay.
So this is the primary member. So we're going to go to the primary member and click on additional members in your account. And we want to drop Douglas.
Yeah.
And we just remove him.
Oh, okay. But he'll
And then
still
we
be
hit-
in this system.
Yes.
Great. Okay. And then the second one is also in there, additional members in your account. Under the primary is Paula Ma.
See here, now he's dropped.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And now you can, if you want to keep him in your database for whatever reason, you said you don't have his new address or email address right now. But when you do get his new email address, you can change him from dropped to non-member. You actually have to promote him to a full member, and then you have to drop him or expire him and change him to a non-member. So if you ever decide to do that, just let me know, because there's a couple of steps. And if I were to promote him to a full member right now, he would receive the email. So you don't want to do that. You would want to first remove his email address, promote him to a full member, and then drop him and convert him to a non-member. So just so you know, you don't want to confuse them.
Right.
But so then we're going to go back. And the reason you have to go to the profile here is you have to look and make sure there's no active invoice for any of these members. If you just drop them externally instead of removing them as a secondary member, the primary member is still going to have an invoice for them, an open invoice for $20 or whatever you charge for your secondary member. So you have to drop them out of the primary member's profile.
Okay. That's
And
good
then
to
the
know.
second one
is Paula Ma.
So we will remove her and then save.
Perfect. Great.
And now
Thank
if we
you.
look at transaction history, just triple check. There's no open invoice. There's no charge for those two members who've been dropped. That's why you want to make sure you drop them out of here. Any questions, anybody on that?
Thank you.
Okay.
Stephanie.
Yes, I put my question in chat, but also I'll ask. I'm with the Tampa Bay area chapter, and I wanted to see if I turned on under member options for the board of directors to approve, would that go to the person who's over our membership? And if I turn that on, would it include her getting notification on like changes that are being made like a deactivation or like when people are dropped or anything like that? Or is it only for new?
It's only for new. It does not, if they add a secondary, it does not send them a email to approve a secondary. It's only for the primary, in case you have secondary and primary members. It's only for when the primary member joins the first time.
Okay.
And it goes to the membership chair, whoever you've designated as the membership chair.
Okay, because we are struggling a little bit with that because our membership doesn't know when people are doing that, and it is kind of important for her to be able to track a little bit, but if it's not an option, that's fine.
Yeah, somebody asked, I think two sessions ago, whether or not if they made a change to the secondary, if they added secondaries, did that prompt an email as well? And it doesn't. We confirmed with ClubExpress it does not.
Okay, thank you.
And do you know, Yvonne, if that is something that is being considered in terms of an upgrade or enhancement, or perhaps something that we should suggest to ClubExpress as a upgrade or enhancement? Because in terms of membership approval for secondary members.
It is not something they told me, but I can send an email to ideas.
Thank you.
It seems like something that would be because you guys need to know who it is that is joining as part of a secondary membership of an agency. Is that correct, Stephanie?
Yes.
Or in general, not just the Tampa Bay chapter, probably. I'm assuming all of you who have that agency primary, secondary membership. It'd be something worth asking them about.
Okay, and this is Tampa Bay. I will update you when I hear something back.
Awesome. Thank you.
So I don't see any hands up. Do we have anyone with questions? Anything they'd like? Okay, Ginny, thank you so much.
Hi, of course, Jenny has a question. So I do want to, I, I think it might be worth, Yvonne, to kind of go through my questions of the after event features that's been launched in ClubExpress. I think it's a good way to kind of walk us through. So what I'm talking about Washington State chapter is I'm implementing the new buttons that I found in the after event. And so in the after event, I am wanting to implement the certificate, these member survey post event, and a couple of other things. And I don't know if you're able to get to that.
Oh, I think that was an event that's not.
Not quite, yeah,
Would this
not
be an
on
event?
yet. Let's see. Well, no, that one's just we like to tell people when something's due. It'll be that March 6th one. Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Great.
So, so you're saying that you want me to go through what these options are?
I think so. I think if this is something that folks are wanting to implement later, because right now there's not a lot of instructions, right? So I ended up emailing you guys and the explanation is great, but I think this is a great feature to introduce if there's no more other
Okay.
questions on the floor.
So event report here, this is, you could, for instance, create a custom page. So it would require you to create a custom page for an event report. And maybe following the event, you want to put a report up of how many people attended, percentage of how many were members, something like that. Then you'd create that custom page and you would link it here. And for now, let's just say about the VA chapter. And I'm going to just do immediately here. And then if you had a photo album, you could create a photo album and link the photo album. And let's do immediately. And a form. This form that they created is basically like a survey form. They're asking, what could you do better at, what could be improved, etc. And so you can create that form here and put that here. And then the event certificate is the new feature where they have a certificate created, and I can show that in a second, that is going to automatically, once they track attendance and they mark people as attended, then any member that has attended will be able to go to their profile and they will be able to print a certificate that says they attended this event on this date and they earned this many hours of contact hours, which is a really nice new feature. ClubExpress last week at their event lunch and learn that they went through the event certificate, they did announce that currently it's not available. Non-members won't be able to get that certificate, but they are working on something that in the future, in the near future, non-members will also be able to get the certificate, which probably doesn't matter to you because it's your members that need to track the hours, but other people in ClubExpress would need that. So now if I save that and I go to the event, it adds some extra icons. So this icon here is the event album. So there is no actual pictures yet in it because the event hasn't taken place. And I turned it on to show immediately versus show after event. If you change it to after event, after the event closes, then that button will appear. But I wanted to show you what the button looked like, so I have it on immediately. Oops, sorry about that. And then this one is the event report, which I linked to About Us. So now if I click on it, it brings to About Us, but you would create a custom page. If you don't have to use all the features, you can say no to some of them and only use the certificate, for instance, or the photo album. You don't have to use them all, but that's what it does. It just brings up these extra icons here. And before we forget, I'm going to
Go ahead and leave it on immediately, except for the report. I don't need the report. But
Okay.
thank you for that. I think that's a great idea. I did have a follow-up on that certificate. So when I was building it, it had defaulted to 1/1/24 date. So is that going to auto-populate the date of the event? Same thing with the name of the attendees, because it defaulted to this Martin Smith.
Yes. Martin Smith is their name for everybody, or their balloon club name. But yes, Martin Smith, and then the date, same. It's going to populate the actual date. And so for those who were not here 2 weeks ago to look at the certificate builder, that's a new feature that Ronnie is also working on, a standardized form, but it is the certificate builder here. And within the certificate builder, there are a couple of features that are called these elements. Oops. Yeah, elements. And then drop down here, you can auto-populate the attendee name. The only thing I have not tested yet is chapter name. So it's not a chapter logo, unfortunately, but if you needed to put in Washington State chapter or something, depending on what your chapter name on the website is, that's what's going to populate. The event title is going to populate in there, so you don't have to actually have March Procurement Summit. Whatever the basic information tab or whatever in the event, whatever you title it, is going to populate there. And then when you add something, for instance, if I were to add chapter name, it brings it up here automatically, and you would just drag it down to wherever you wanted it, and you can expand it. You can increase the size, you can change the text, you can add additional text, and you can like I said, change the font, change the size of it, change the color of the font. You can make it all capitals, and I am not going to apply that change. So play around with it, but like I said, Ronnie can speak more to that. I think she's working on a standardized form.
So to that, however, like for instance, what you saw from the dropdown that Yvonne was showing, you can't place contact hours, for instance, right? And so that, or the signatures, if that's what you wanted, or your chapter logo or stuff like that. So that what happens is that really most of it is going to have to be created for each event. So I could certainly provide you a very standard template, but each time you do your event, you would have to create and change the information, probably in Word or whatever, in order to be able to personalize it for your purpose. So I think there's plans as they continue rolling this out, Yvonne, to expand upon some of the things that you can add into the certificate based on those elements that you were showing. But right now there aren't a lot, which thus makes it necessary to have an individual certificate image, which is what this is for each event.
And you can create, you can create as many certificates as you want. Maybe it's just a 1.5 contact hour, and then there's another one that's a 2.5 contact hour, 3.5 contact hour. And as long as you don't put in the date or the title of the event, you can, as long as you don't include the date and title of the event on the certificate itself, but you drag it from the elements, you can reuse that same 1.5, 2.5, 3.5 as many times as you want going forward, so that you're not creating one for March 2025, April 2025, September 2025.
And is the best way to do it, Yvonne, to in a Word document that you then save to a PDF that you then save to an image? Is that because that has to be an image file, right?
It has to be a JPEG. And ideally, it should only be, no more than, if you're going with a horizontal, no more than like 850 or 900 pixel wide.
Thank you for that, Yvonne. I do have a follow-up. So now that we've set up the after event, and I see that it is just on the events page, obviously none of my members are going to go in and go, oh, let me see what other buttons did Jenny put on there. Could we email that whole page? Or we have to tell them like, hey, you can access your certificate using this link, or click here so that you can grab your own certificate? Or does it go to, hey, go to your member profile, your certificate now appears on your transcript?
Yeah, I think it would be awesome if we could just include that
Mhm.
certificate or something
Yeah.
right in an email follow up to the members, but no, or to the attendees, but no, it doesn't. You would have to send a email to them
Okay.
that's that said here, and I would just create a customized
Mhm.
that you send every single time after the event that just says, go to your profile and find your certificate.
Okay. So the if you scroll down the bottom of this page, the that email's there. Can we use that feature to add the
So
link?
so the email so the additional info is going to appear in a registration confirmation email
Oh yeah.
unless you remove that system tag from the that system tag additional underscore info from the registration confirmation email. But remember, if you do that, it's removed for every event.
Okay.
And maybe you never typically use additional info, but what you're thinking of doing is actually adding it here. And you could see they're all for before, not after. So you
Right.
could, the day before the event, send a reminder email to everybody. That would go out probably about 6:30 in the morning. And you'd have to, turn this on and add additional info. So you wouldn't want to have the additional info in there before. And then
Right.
you would have to say, after tomorrow's event, make sure you check your member profile for your certificate or something. And here is the custom page for the event report. So you could do that. It's just, that's something you're going to
Okay.
have to remember to do. So you're probably better off just creating and emailing.
Okay. I will do that. Yeah, and I'll let you know how that goes for sure. Great.
Yeah, if you create a
Thank you.
template, then you're just pulling over the template and changing the 2 links
Right.
or changing
Okay.
the 1 link.
Yeah, definitely. Thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Mhm.
Hopefully that was helpful.
Absolutely. So based on that, however, I don't see any hands up. You did show on the after event, Yvonne, the photo album and the ad hoc forms. Would you be able to show us how those are created? Because there probably are some people on the call here who haven't necessarily used those.
So the ad hoc form, the way that Ginny is using it is she's using it, like I said, as a survey. But you can't, there's also surveys. So under the communications tab, there's surveys and ad hoc forms. Surveys does not link in the after event. So if you wanted to create something like Ginny did, where it is a, how was the event? It's right, 2025 March Procurement Summit is her survey, and it's or her ad hoc form, and her questions, for example, is these 3 questions: what they like and didn't like, future improvements, etc. So that's how you would do it. And again, that's under the communications tab and ad hoc forms. And when you first create an ad hoc form, it's going to be in test mode. Let's see. Oops, sorry. Let's call it an education survey. And then after you've tested it, you've tried it out, it's in pending. Then once you build it, then you can change it to testing, and then you can have people test the survey. I hope there's not a fire outside. Sorry. There's a whole bunch of smoke right outside my building. So if the fire fire alarm goes off, I'll have to leave. But anyway, so then you can have people test it. And when they've tested it and you know everything is good, then you can change it to active and all those tests will be gone. So that's a good thing. I'm just going to go ahead and delete that. In order to create ad hoc forms, the first thing you have to do is create categories. So you're going to have to go to the ad hoc forms. Same with surveys if you haven't used the survey module. You have to create the categories, and then once you create the categories, then you can create a new form. And then these, you know, the question mark is the questions. Like I said, ad hoc forms are also used for purchasing stuff, like maybe you have an event and you create an ad hoc form after the event to say if you want to purchase the materials from the event, it's a $25 charge. You can add a charge to an ad hoc form. So that's another difference between an ad hoc form and a survey, obviously.
And the photo
Anybody have
album?
questions on that?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, I'm Maryland and I'm looking at mine. I don't see an ad hoc form under communications.
Okay, so if you do not see that, that's good that you brought that up, Maryland. So if you do not see it here, that means you haven't enabled the module. This is a complimentary module. There's no charge for it. And all you have to do is go to configure. And this will show you all the modules that are within that tab. And the only one that is disabled at this time is ad hoc forms. So you just highlight it and then you make it active. And then this is where you decide whether or not members are going to be only doing the form and able to see the forms. If you have this set to members only, a non-member will never be able to do an ad hoc form. So if you want to, if there's a potential that non-members are going to be filling out these forms, you want to make it any website visitor. And then you hit save. And now it's here. And going back to Maryland, not Maryland, Washington. Was I on Washington? Yeah. If you want to look at the form and test it, you can switch to view mode. And switch to view mode on every one of these means that you're switching to like the public mode. So if I go to switch to view mode and then I click on ad hoc forms, okay, never mind, it doesn't work for the ad hoc form. Let me see here. Switch to view mode. So it doesn't work for the ad hoc form, but it works for some of the other ones. So now it brought me to the public facing page of the surveys. You might not have it up here under any of your tabs, but it's just a quick, easy way for you to test your survey and make sure that it looks good instead of trying to find the link and going to the link and using the link. And then I know you also asked about the photo albums really quickly. That is under website and photos and photo albums. Again, most of these modules, in order to create something, you have to first create categories. So we have some photo album categories here. And once those are created, then you can create your photo album and you can title it and you have to choose the category that it falls under. And when you're creating a new album, you can add multiple pictures at once. And then once, so like if you, instead of having to add one by one by one, you can add a whole bunch of them, and then you can change the display sequence. And, you know, just, you can always delete a photo album and delete the pictures. So if you're worried about doing this, you know, maybe take a little quick test. Also, don't upload where I say that you can add multiple photos. It will crash if you try to add like 75 or 100 at once. So you'll need to do groupings if you have that many photos. You can add them all in the same photo album, but not at one time.
A little tip on that too, Yvonne, and I know Nicole has her hand up. Since you're in the photo album, I've found that if you're in an event, let's say at Chapter Academy, and you took a whole bunch of pictures, Like just log in on your phone, on your mobile app, and it's so much easier to upload your pictures from there. And I'll
Okay.
stop at that. I'm not going to tell you guys how to do that, but it does make it so much easier and less cumbersome to upload from there.
Yes.
You have your hand up.
Chapter, and I have a quick question. I had posted this to the General Administrators Forum, but I'll put it out there. Are there any metrics via the dashboard? And if you haven't seen the dashboard yet, we kind of touched a little bit of this in our chapter academy at the Leadership Summit this past week. But are there any data metrics that allows us to see, let's say if we have a sponsorship set up with our vendors and we have a link to the vendor's website within our website setup, are there any metrics to be able to tell us if anyone has clicked on that link?
Not on the dashboard, but you can, when you build the link, you can make it trackable. So you faded in, so I missed the chapter you're with.
Kansas. Now, we don't have this on our website, but this was asked with a different chapter, but I'd love to see how it's done.
Okay, so first of all, if you don't know the dashboard is this tab right here that was added about maybe a year and a half ago. And every person, every administrator can create their own dashboard. And by doing the dashboard, it's just you click on configure and you can add, maybe you want member status counts. And maybe you're the membership chair, and so there's certain things that are more important as the membership chair. So there's certain things you pull over. Here's website visits, but this is not clickable links to the sponsor pages. So membership by type, let's just start with those three. And now it pulls those in here and it's going to save in here. And every time I go to the dashboard, when I log in, those same three things are going to be there. And you can actually change the view of them. So this one doesn't have an option, but some of them will have, like, okay, so here we go, 6 months. So we could do a 6 month versus, just the 1 month or something, whatever defaulted to. So that's what you do with these little 3 dots, is see if there's any other options that you can change the report to tailor it to what you want. You should be able to move them or click to expand, download in CSV and print as well. That's what that little thing here is. I think to move them, you have to just go back into here and move them up and down as you would like the member menu. Okay, so that's the dashboard, just a real quick overview. You can't harm anything by playing around with that. Definitely get in there and play around with that and see what you like and what's important for you to be able to quickly pull up. As far as creating a trackable link, I'm just going to go to a custom page here. And let's just go with this one here. And I won't save this and make it active, but I'm just going to show you how to build a link. Let's say you have something like visit our sponsor, or it's a logo. It can even be a logo. It can be an image. It can be anything. So let's start with just that. And we're going to build the link by clicking on this insert link here. And it's going to be an external page because it's going to be a sponsor. And I'm just going to use this website right here. And I'm going to use the text. It's going to change the link text. If I click save now, it's going to have that full link right here. So I'm going to change this link text to visit our sponsor. And here's where I'm going to track it. If I turn this on, I can now see, I can go into the back end of ClubExpress website and see how many times this link has been clicked. And maybe I want to give it a very specific name so that I know exactly what it is. And maybe I just put NIGP homepage. And I'm not well, I am going to save it, but I'm not going to make this page active. And now if we go back to the control panel, I believe it's under communications. Here's link tracking, communications, link tracking. And when I hit search, these are all the link trackings you already have set up. And I'm in the same page, right? NIGP homepage. Here's that link I just built. And so far, nobody has clicked on it.
Does that answer that, Nicole? Yes.
So you are using link tracking currently. So this is something really good, especially for sponsors, because they'll want to know how many times people are hitting. But the other option is when a sponsor provides their logo, they can provide a link to you that includes tracking information. And a lot of times they'll do that. So I'm going to just go ahead and delete this one and make sure I delete the right one.
Okay. Nicole, did that answer everything? Yes, we're good.
Yeah, that helps.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sure. Well, my goodness, it's already 4 minutes to the hour, so I guess we will end for today. We will do this again.
Ronnie, sorry.
Yes.
Ronnie,
Okay.
sorry. One thing I do want to, and we learned this at Chapter Academy when I was opening up this page on my quick demo, where Nicole actually just mentioned it, the NIGP Administrators Forums page. FreshCats told me that was there, but I did not know. Did we miss like the launch of that page? Because I'm seeing there's not been any activities on it since June of 2024, and there's not a lot of conversations. So is this another great place for us to be able to post our questions? And it would be good to let folks know so we could ask those questions and not have to wait until office hours if it can wait or cannot wait, I suppose.
So certainly that is the purpose of Yvonne and Kaylee at Acclaim Pros, right? So in terms of asking for sure. But yes, we do. We actually, the Administrators Forum is actually a ClubExpress, all of their administrators on the platform forum, whereas there is an NIGP Chapters Administrator Forum that we created when we first launched the site. Actually, I'm trying to remember how you access it. If you look for forums,
it's under forums.
It's under forums. If you go there, and so
yes,
there
it is, the second one.
The NIGP Administrators Forum.
Correct.
So that is also a place in which you can actually ask questions of each other. Right. The issue with forums is that to get email notifications of posts, you have to go into your profile and turn on that you want to receive emails from the forums. So that's the one thing. So if you don't have those turned on, then you don't receive email notifications of postings. But certainly those are also an option, Ginny. Thank you so much for bringing those up. Because those are absolutely an option in terms of reaching out. I have never used the full ClubExpress Administrators Forum before, so I don't know how quickly there is responses or whatever. I don't know if Yvonne, if you know, but certainly an option. I think it would be great if we could start using the NIGP Administrators Forum, because that's a great place to do just what you were doing during this call, which is I use Zoom and or to discuss stuff that you guys are doing among yourselves in your site. I'd love for that. But once again, it has to do with people being sure to turn on those preferences in order to get those emails. So
turn it on or log on the website, which is you don't need a notification. Yep.
Exactly. And but for questions also, that is absolutely, it's certainly we want also Yvonne and Kaylee are there to answer questions that you guys might need to have an answer to quickly. So.
And then I don't know if all the websites have the same menu, but under here on this website, under member resources, they do have the forums. And if you're an admin, you're going to see this. If you're not an admin, you're not going to see this. In other words, a regular member is not going to see that. But if you don't have that menu tab somewhere, if you don't have forums somewhere on your menu, again, the way you can get to it is go to the communications, switch to view mode, and then hit forums, and it'll take you to it. If you don't switch to view mode and you hit forums, it takes you to the admin for your site of creating forums, not reading forums.
Well, thank you, everyone. We so appreciate Yvonne. Thank you. We will do this to the second Tuesday of March. If you do have immediate questions that can't wait, please do reach out to Yvonne and Kaylee at Acclaim Pros. And we thank you guys for attending. We'll see you the second Tuesday of March.
And
Thank
Heather,
Happy
Ginny,
Procurement Month.
and Heather,
Yeah.
Ginny, and Stephanie, I will get back to you.
Yeah, no, I know you will. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Thank you,
Have a good day.
everyone.
Bye.
Bye.